Absolutely. Well, it's great to reconvene, and we really got into kind of your backstory to begin with, and I kind of
Right.
wanted to peel back some of those layers in this conversation. So
Okay.
thank you for coming back, and we'll get into it a little bit more.
Okay, perfect. I'm thinking, and you ask me questions, or I will figure out what layers need to be peeled. You know how you say you would love to travel?
Yeah.
You you travel by doing all these interviews.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Well, and I just went on a trip with my family over the weekend. We went down to Oklahoma City. So we do get out. We get out and see some things. So it's fun. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, interviewing all of these fascinating people from around the world. It's a trip.
Yeah,
Absolutely around the
yeah,
globe.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you want to peel away, or where do you want me to start?
I just kind of want to pick back up where we left off and just kind of ask you some questions to get a better idea of your backstory.
Absolutely. Please,
Okay.
please, please.
Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing I'd like to ask you is in this, life of helping people and doing magnanimous things for them, who's been a hero for you? Who's been an inspiration for you to do the work that you've done in your life?
Oh, what a good question. I, I'm not sure I even know. I mean, I've had teachers that I admire. I suppose Catherine Shaneberg, whom I learned the imagery with, but huh. Uh, First of all, I was a really late bloomer. I had no idea
Yeah.
what I was going to do. Do you know what I mean? I really didn't. And it, one of the first things I did was really, believe it or not, was be a nursery school teacher. Um, and why am I saying that? Because um, I remembered being a kid, and I remember not being seen and appreciated. And so it wasn't like a conscious thought, I'm going to appreciate these kids, but it became something that I really just did. So I saw kind of their coolness, their beauty, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Oh, um, and then of course I started Dance World. So you meet along the way people that expand you. I suppose one of my first heroes, although I wouldn't have said hero, is Blanche Evan, my uh, dance therapy teacher. I didn't even want dance therapy, but the universe wanted me to do that. I just wanted dance classes that were near NYU. Um, who knows? And I'm looking, I probably, in little newspapers that then, and there she was. And she goes, "Well, I do dance therapy." And I go, "Well, yeah, I want to dance." But she really was instrumental in starting my journey. What's really interesting is I ended up certifying in dance therapy. And dance therapy, weirdly enough, is similar to imagery. It's what the body already knows, right? And it comes out, but through movement. It's the first time I have to tell you, one of the things we did was be in the womb in dance. You pretend you're in the womb. And I always thought I'd had a miserable, miserable life. I mean, I only remembered my unhappinesses. And when I'm in the womb, I feel really curious and excited. It was very weird.
Yeah.
It was like, ooh, I can sort of see the light through. It was really very curious and excited are the right words. So
Sure.
it wasn't like, oh, miserable me. I was like, whoa, whoa, so she opened up uh, she opened up to me that we knew more than we think we know, right? And that I was but I'll tell you what helped me the most. And I decided that that's really what I would do for people if I could. I was sitting next to her. It was a studio, but everybody sat on the floor and you watch the person. This was when I was training. I don't know what happened that she either left to go to the bathroom or to open the door, but her notebook was there. And I saw that she had written something about me. And what she had written was, "Go, Claudia, go, fly, fly, Claudia, go." Now, she never said that to me,
Sure.
but obviously some part of her did, right?
Yeah.
But reading that helped me the most. I went like, oh, wow, uh, maybe there's something to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I when I work with someone that comes to me because they want to get pregnant or they are pregnant, and I have a kind of rule that, and I teach the students that learn this with me, that you shouldn't work with anybody whose good side you can't see
Yeah.
because it's not fair. It just is not nice, you know. And as I've done this work, and I feel like all of us have a higher self and angelic help and ancestors that are trying to help us. Like even now, when I'm going to be interviewed or when I do a session or when I teach a class, I ask not only my helpers to be here, but the other person's. So I feel like the room is sort of crowded with beings that know much more where things are at.
Yeah.
You know, and it brings out the good side of a person. So I I would say every one of my teachers ended up being a little bit of a heroine. And I must say right now with Catherine, at some point, after I take every class she still teaches. In the beginning, I took many private sessions. And of course, she taught me DreamBirth imagery at my request. Can you teach me imagery that will help people who are pregnant? And she hinted that it would be much better if I could create a class. So the universe helped. I met one doula that knew a lot, and there we were. We had a class. Um, but eh, people put her up in a pedestal. She's, you know, a genius. And so do I, but slightly differently because we're closer to the same age. A lot of people are younger. Oh my goodness, she's, you know, and her style is a little bit different than mine. I'm very much I'm human. I make lots of mistakes. Don't worry, you're like me. I'm nowhere above you. She has a little bit more of the grande dame, as my grandmother did, as my mother did, you know, like well, my grandmother probably,
Yeah.
who if I were who was to me, oh, unapproachable, unattainable. She was beautiful. People came to her for things. She knew of things of the other side that I didn't understand yet. Like when she cut my hair, she buried it. And she only cut it in the full moon and she buried it. And I was like, what kind of savage thing is this? My beautiful grandmother, what is she doing?
Yeah.
Because where I grew up was much more logical, you know, both my mother and father. And so I say to her, why? She says, so your hair will grow richer and fuller. And I'm like, the hell is this? You
Yeah.
know, it seemed crazy, but it makes me laugh because now I really understand.
Yeah.
It's a bit of not a prayer, but an ask, an intention of the universe of it's just I totally understand it now, but it may so she was full of that. So when I started to veer more towards understanding there was something Bigger. Um, okay, so I would say my grandmother, and but I thought like I can never attain her stature, you know.
Yeah.
And I knew that as a kid, she thought I was the most like her, which to me was like crazy. She was beautiful, perfect. She was like, you know, chess champion of Guatemala. I mean, she was like to me unattainable. Like the fact that she thought I was the most like her, I went like, I don't know what she sees, you know, 'cause you know, couldn't quite get it. Now in retrospect, I do. I was the most like her. Organizational, I can see a bigger picture, but not when I was little,
Yeah.
because I was not admired or liked by my mother and my father maybe, but he was gone a lot. He traveled a lot.
Yeah.
So um So my teachers that I ended up really studying with that taught me a bigger picture, I would say, um, influenced me greatly. With Catherine now, I took it in a different direction. She does more imagery. She keeps doing classes right now. She's doing a class on the environment, how we can help the environment and climate change through imagery, whereas I stick with my babies. I
Yeah.
feel like this is what I came to do. And I teach a little bit more warmly. I'm much more and I used to go, she would really criticize this. And now I'm like, no, this is the way you are. This is the way you have most grown into your better self is to be when people see the very best in me, not when people see my mistakes.
Yeah. Right.
You, you know, for a long time, therapy, I was in, you know, all you know is your mistakes and you feel terrible and how do I fix them? And even when I did body work, um, my hands, I would kind of go to where you need to go. I don't know how to describe it. I would more bring people into their wholeness. I wouldn't concentrate on what wasn't working. It's like my hands would sort of, we would invite very beautifully that area to expand, not force. And it took me a while to go, oh no, I'm not looking at what's wrong. Because people would say, okay, so what's wrong with me? And I was like, well, I'm not sure what's wrong with you. That's not what my hands are figuring out.
Yeah.
And a little bit that same way when I work with someone. It's a little crazy story, but it's how it happened. I did rental real estate in New York when I was trying to train in Alexander technique and in other things because I needed something that gave me more time. But in real estate, um, you get every kind of person. You know, you don't get a warning. Like
Yeah.
every type of person needs an apartment, and I saw that I was going to have to change what I did because when I don't like somebody, I don't have a poker face. I retreat. You know, it's like a little wall goes up. And I went, "But Claudia, you only get commissions. You have to get people to work with you." And the only way I could figure it out, but I didn't figure it out so consciously. I would find at least one thing I liked about a person
Yeah.
that at first seemed. And once I did that, things opened up. They became more charming. You saw nicer things about them. And then I didn't have to fake it.
Yeah.
I can't fake it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only way I can do it is Claudia, find what's really good about them. And then I can, yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Of all of these things that you've done and evolved into in your life, what are you the proudest of?
Oh, that's so interesting. Really what I do now, I am in awe of how I can get mothers to communicate with the souls not even coming in, or the souls or the babies in them, or those that they either miscarried or aborted. I'm really stunned, but I'm not. It's because I asked for help. So then a little idea comes through to me, but I do feel like everything I did before then is serving this. It looks like a lot of different things, but in the end, everything that I did, from teaching English to Spanish speaking people, to teaching Spanish to English, because I also did that, to uh, teaching dance, to doing the body work, to um, what else have I done? The real estate all kind of really taught me. It all ended up coming together in what I do now. I'm sort of
Yeah.
like, if I hadn't had that real estate experience, I wouldn't know how to make people feel at ease very quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just taught me that. So,
Yeah.
um, teaching Spanish or English taught me, like, don't be fooled by when they say, yes, I understand. Let them give it back to you. Did they
Yes.
really understand? Which is a little bit with the imagery. If I do want them to do the exercise where they see the baby head down and then come out of them, I want them to have understood. So I that has taught me, right? You have to sometimes dig in a teeny bit, but okay, so just so we make sure we're clear.
Sure.
What are you going to, I mean, I tell them, so explain to me, how are you going to do the exercise? It taught me that you have to be clear, and you have to redo it again. And with every teacher that I've had, especially in Imagery, Catherine, I see what really works for me and for others, and what sometimes may not work. So uh, um, I don't know if that answers the question, but almost
Yeah.
everything, yeah, it is what I'm doing now. And writing the book that I wrote was, I didn't want to be a writer. I didn't want to be a writer. That
Yeah.
was not what I am. But what I was learning about what the babies had to say, or the whole experience of really, we're quite alive on the other side, and we're quite alive when we leave. Um, it just felt like this has got to be told. It's going to help so much people that have suffered with miscarriages and abortions. And it, so it, I feel I was a reporter. I have to report on this. I have got to report on what I'm learning, because it's too extraordinary.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of the day, is the practitioner helping those get to this place of healing and bringing life into this world? Everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your clients, but you're the one running your show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, you're a smart man.
We we try. We're just trying.
Um, I wouldn't have answered this even a year ago. Um, uh, um, I do now see myself as a human with great gifts, but I think a lot of humans have great gifts. This is my gift. I was um, I was told I've done this different lifetimes, and I believe it because I know too much about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm too and I haven't read about it. This is just, how come I know? So now I would say that my real role, because it isn't just working with the pregnancies. Some people come to me, although or especially when who take my classes, that you can become whole. You are whole. It's what makes you wilted is thinking you're broke.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
the more
totally.
you tap into your wholeness, like with another person, all these riches appear. Now, imagery does show you your riches, so I kind of love what I do with the imagery. It's a really great tool, but I haven't. I was very impressed when I would forget to water a flower. And I would go, oh my God, I've killed the flower. Look at this poor thing. And I would water it. Not in a few minutes, but definitely by the next day. It's like it never half died.
Yeah.
It's whole. And I think of us as being that way, you know, that even if you've suffered great losses and you weren't loved, um, well, first of all, and I read this had to be taught to me by a book, is if you know not love, you know love because you know what you didn't get. You can imagine everything that you would have loved, right? That my mother paid attention to me, that she would at least wake up. You know, she would go to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning. She would never wake up in the mornings. And and I would beg her, please, please, mommy, one time. And but, so like when I had my own children, I knew what I wanted to do by what I didn't get. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
so you from pain, you know exactly like I'm never going to do that to
Sure.
someone, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So um part of the trick is to get into the place that you want to be imaginally. I'm greatly loved. I'm when you I'm completely healthy. You know, like, oh, look, I had foot pain for a long time and I was too paranoid. I didn't know who to go to. It was plantar fasciitis. I go, oh God, who should I go to? I don't want to go to a podiatrist. What should I do? And then I went, Claudia, do what you tell your clients to do. Tell it how wonderful it is. Okay, I had had that pain really for at least 3 months. And so I go, wonderful foot. I love you. You are so resilient and strong. You have served me so well. Oh my goodness, you have supported me all these years. 3 days, I had no pain. I'm
Wow.
not kidding.
Yeah.
And it just is happening now. I'm having a little bit of uh, pain in these two fingers. And I go, oh, no, no, you talk very nicely to it. So again, I'm looking for words. I don't want to say you're painless because then you say the word pain. You're so fluid. Oh, I love how you move. You're so articulate. My beautiful hands. You've healed so many people, and I can tell already it's going away. So, um, it's hard to imagine what you don't have,
Mhm. Yeah.
but at least with DreamBirth imagery or sapphire imagery, they're very short exercises. You practice becoming a queen. You practice many things, becoming a wave. I mean, you don't practice doing that, but you
Yeah.
you become so many. You allow your imagination to be free that it becomes easier.
Yeah.
So I and a lot of the work is taking away the belief that I can't. I'm broken. I can't
Yeah.
do this. It's too late. I'm too old. Um, well, so and so can do it, but I can't. Now, some people will be more receptive to, we have exercises to get rid of, to do all that. And some are stubborn. No, no, I'm right. I can't do it. Then they won't. Do you know
Right.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, so you kindly say, okay, then you won't.
Yeah.
So the what I do right now, which is really work with mothers to be in awe of their kids, really, I think, and in awe of themselves in the end,
Yeah.
will help mankind because this is the future, right? This is um, it- why I feel it's so important is that when the people learn that, but also the imagery. Oh, I can pour light on my child when they go to school. Oh, I can see him be happy when he's unhappy. Um, oh, all my ancestors are so happy that I'm changing the ways. When you get you help the new generations that are already coming in with less weight on their shoulders. Whatever is happening to us, we think it's so awful. And it is a lot of, it's bringing up the people who go, no, 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 no. We're going to keep it the way it was, right? We're
Yeah.
going to, but there's many who are going, but wait a minute, we're all in this together. What are we doing? Fighting. This is crazy.
Yeah.
There's more compassion that is coming in. And at least what I understand from some of the people who say who channel source, that the new babies coming in have much less karma. They're not going by the karma system. I'm here. You're going to be happy, mom. You're going to start to see how incredible life is because I need to flower.
Yeah.
And but with each person, you have to work where they're at. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't quite fake it. Sometimes you can inspire someone to go, fuck it. I'm just going to let go of my past and I'm
Yeah.
going to decide I can really do all these things, right?
Yeah.
So, so anyway,
Real quick, I have a 9 o'clock. I was hoping we could get through this. We tend to kind of talk a lot, but which is good. But I think we've gotten to a good place where we can lead everybody to your book, Messages from the Womb. So absolutely. So everybody go out and get it, Claudia. It was so good to catch up with you. I think we've covered a lot in our two interviews together. So thank you so much for opening up. It's a fascinating story.
only one thing, the
Yeah.
book will make you feel so much more hopeful about life
Yeah.
and the universe, promise you, whether you are going to have a kid or not. It's
Yeah.
for anyone who has been in a womb.
Yeah. So yeah, and I felt hopeful and so much better about our conversations. Claudia, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
I
Thank you. The
appreciate it.
universe put us together. Bye bye.
Absolutely. Take care. See ya.
Okay. Bye bye.